Hey everyone, good evening. Right, let me just mute everyone. Go. It's a touch before 9 o'clock, so I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes, let everybody join on. So if you're just jumping on now, good evening, hello, hope you're really well. Hope you're excited because I am. And a couple of things to get you started. Get yourself some water or a coffee, or it's 9 o'clock, have a glass of wine if you like, I don't mind, whatever you like. And you also need some of these, some sort of coloured pens and some paper. So you've got a bit of time to go and get some coloured pens, get some paper. Lissy's got hers there, I can see, good girl. So you will need them. I am recording this, fingers crossed, anybody who gets on, you'll get an email in your inbox in the morning with a copy of the recording. So don't worry too much if you miss something. However, those of you who use Zoom will know it doesn't always record, sometimes it doesn't save. So absolutely, first of all, well done for getting on the live, because that way you definitely know that you're on and that you're not going to miss anything. But I will try and record it, as I said. So if you're just jumping on, thanks for joining us on this beautiful Thursday evening. I hope you're having an amazing week. Go and grab yourself a drink, some water, a glass of wine, a cup of tea, coffee, whatever you want. And you'll need some paper, whether that's a flip chart size piece of paper or a notebook type size piece of paper, and you'll need some coloured pens. In the meantime, while we're waiting for everybody to jump on, jump in the comments, say your name, where you're from, what you're excited about, what you're looking to learn in the next little while on the webinar, what you'd like me to cover, and also anything that you'd like to share. Like, what do you find difficult about your time management right now? That's really what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about optimizing your time. So what do you find difficult now, and how are you hoping that this might help? So just if you're comfortable doing that, it's not a school, you don't have to, but it's great if we have interact. I would love it, if possible, if you would have your videos on as well. You absolutely don't have to, it's totally cool. Some people don't, I know some people don't use Zoom very much. Hi Helen from Lincoln, thank you for jumping on and sharing. You don't have to, but it is nice for me to be able to see other people. My pen lid has just gone flying across the room. So here, I'll tell you a little story while we're waiting for everyone to jump on about time management. So my little boy is 8 and he did his first communion on the 10th of June, so like a week and a half ago, which was all fine. And then tonight they had a party so they had a mass and then a party. Yeah, Mummy didn't have that written down and forgot about it, but so we're going to cover that, why it's important to write everything down. I knew about it, but I didn't think about the time, and I clashed it a little bit with this. So we have had a hairy 10 minutes here where I'm messaging my husband from the church hall up the road going, you might have to come and take over here because this is going on a little bit longer than I thought. But we were lucky I finished all. I knew it wouldn't be late because they're all 8, right? So they need to get home to bed. So hi Evelina, thanks for jumping on. Lizzie in Hampshire, trying to juggle running a business, demanding huge family and my personal life. Yeah, that sounds quite familiar. I'm sure some of us will recognize that. Who else have we got? Marilyn from the West Midlands. Hey Tara, fitting your DMO in around working full time. So for those of you who don't know what that means, that's your daily method of operation. It doesn't really matter what business you're in, it's really about getting the things that you need to get done on the day. Hi Ruth in Anglesey, managing your time. Being a mummy, finding time to pick specific times, absolutely. So guys, if you're just jumping on now, you need to get some water or a drink, so you're refreshed, really important, and then some paper, and we're going to get started in a minute. And I want you to grab, ideally, if you can, if you've got kids, go and read the pencil cases, go and grab some coloured pens. Say hi Maggie from Scotland, working, DMOs again, planning your day, kids, house, just general juggling. Lily's finally gone to bed, hooray. Yes, we all have that, guys. Hands up on the call if you have little ones that you have to get to bed at night, and it's not always easy, right? It's not easy, guys, right? It's tough, it's one of those things, but it is, unfortunately, starts to eat into your night, so well done for doing that. Full-time job at the moment, 2 kids, business building. Hi, Karen from Cambridge. Trying to absorb as much information as possible. Get everything done in the shortest amount of time. That's like utopia, Catherine, absolutely. Work nearly full time. Hi, Rebecca from Cambridge. Okay, cool. Hi from Manchester, fitting in DMO, organising time between 12-hour shifts and up to 70 hours a week. That sounds like what my life used to be like. Okay, great. Right, thanks everyone for sharing those. Carry on doing that if you're just jumping on. I'm just going to change this a little bit. Now, you're very welcome. I'm just going to highlight this 1 second. You're very welcome to, okay, you should be able to see me better now because you couldn't before. So you're very welcome to put comments or questions into the chat. I won't refer to it all the way through because it can be really distracting, but if you've got anything specific or any feedback or anything you think of, or any comments about what I'm sharing with you during the live or during the webinar, please do just put it in the comments. I do save the chat and I go back and see it later, but also there'll be hopefully a bit of time for a Q&A at the end as well. So put it in there and I can go back through and have just a little look through the questions if there's anything. If you could just put question or comment before you write so that I know then what I'm looking for, will save us a bit of time at the end. Okay, so we're going to get started because obviously need to manage all of our time. My name is Emma Sned and thank you so much for jumping on this webinar. It's the second one that I've done. I did one last week as well, and similar content. And I think the reason sort of why I've pulled this together for people is because it's something that I get asked about a lot. Is time management, how to manage your time, how to juggle everything, whether you've got children or not. Like, it's difficult to manage your time sometimes, and we can sometimes feel like the day just gets away with us. And put your hand up for me if you know what I mean. If you go to bed feeling like you haven't achieved stuff all the time, like you got up in the morning going, I'm going to do all this stuff, and by the end of the day, like, I didn't do most of that stuff, right? That's definitely me, right? That's most people, and it's really frustrating, and it can be so oops daisy, let me just mute whoever that is. It can be so tiring and exhausting, and we're very hard on ourselves as well. Like, we're very tough on ourselves sometimes about that, and then we go to bed feeling like in a negative frame of mind, and we wake up in the morning and we're going to start all over again, and that kind of just is a cycle. So I wanted to give you some tools, strategies, and I'm going to finish with some really trust me, Evelyn is saying there she needs 25 hours in a day. If you had 25, you'd need 26. We've got 24. 24 is loads, right? And I'm going to help you tonight to manage those 24 hours better for you. So first of all, I'm going to run through some little tips that hopefully you will find useful in how you manage your day-to-day life. And then at the last section of it, I'm going to do a visual thing that I want you to actually physically do with me. Some of you may have done it before, and I would recommend that you just go through it and do it again. And some of you, it'll be brand new. If you know somebody who's registered for this webinar and they're not on it yet, give them a quick nudge. I know Love Island is on. However, there's 24 hours in a day, and if you're going to spend one of them watching Love Island, you've only got 23 left. So that's kind of, it's up to each individual person, but you might need to give somebody a nudge and remind them. So managing your time is actually a really important life skill. It's something that, without managing your time, you are not going to hit your goals. You're not going to achieve the things that you want to do because time will run away with you. My background is I had a very busy corporate job for a long time. I've got two little kids and an older stepdaughter. I was working 100 hours a week and really wanted to build a part-time business alongside that. I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to have a life. I wanted to go for coffee with my friends. I wanted to do everything. Right? I want to have it all, and I don't see why you can't. But time was the thing that I was really struggling with. And when I was building my part-time business alongside my full-time job and my family, it's very much everybody's pulling on your time. And these sort of tips that I'm going to share with you and strategies that I'm going to share with you tonight were things that really helped me to achieve everything that I needed to achieve in the time frame that I had. So if we squander and waste time doing things, and actually what you'll realize through the next little while is maybe where you're squandering and wasting time in the day that you haven't really noticed before. I challenge you, actually, if you have Sky Plus or Sky Q or anything like that, have a look at the things that you've got recorded on there that you watch. So for example, I used to record Coronation Street, and when I stopped watching it back, when I went onto my Sky Plus at one stage, I had 75 hours of recorded Coronation Street that I had decided not to watch. Now, in my previous time, I would have watched all that. Now, maybe it would have been half an hour at a time or an hour at a time, but that's 75 hours of my life that I would have spent watching TV. So that I just deleted off my Sky Plus and didn't need to do. So have a look at how are you squandering time, how are you wasting time? Because it's difficult to achieve the things that you want to do. And time is the greatest equalizer that we have. Whatever job you do, whatever age you are, whatever background you have, whatever career you're involved in, whatever business you're involved in, or whatever, wherever you are, time is the one thing that we all have in common. Everybody, no matter who you are, rich, poor, famous, not famous, irrespective, everybody has 24 hours. So sometimes we have this illusion of busy, and particularly mums amongst us, we have this kind of badge of honor of busy that we wear sometimes. Oh, I'm very busy. Like, I'm very busy. When people say, how are you? I'm very busy. Actually, what you want is to not be busy. You want to be productive. So when someone says, how are you? You're like, you know what? Really productive. Because actually, when you tell yourself that you're really busy, you feel busy and you don't even know why. It creates like a stress hormone in us when you go, I'm really busy. You want to be productive. You don't want to be functioning and busy. You see what I mean? You want to be functioning in productive. How are you feeling? How are things going? Really productive. So 92% of the population don't ever achieve the things that they want to achieve. So you're in the 8% now. You're going to move yourself into the 8% of people who achieve the things that they want to achieve in the time that they've got. So the first tip I've got for you, number one, is to avoid distraction. Distraction will, by definition, take you away from the things that you want to achieve. So we have distractions everywhere. Like, sometimes distractions are things we don't even notice. Our children obviously are a massive distraction and very difficult to avoid. So we need to, I'm going to tell you a little bit how you can prioritize your children so that they aren't a distraction as much as possible. But things like your mobile phone, your email, your inbox, your notifications, anything that's involved around this little gadget, amazing as it is, can be a huge distraction. TV, making a cup of coffee, online shopping, chatting to your friends at the school gates for half an hour every day. Little things like that, little things will steal big time from you over time. So have a check tomorrow or the next day for the next little week. Do a little distraction tracker and notice the times where you maybe get absorbed in a TV program, where you maybe get chat on the phone for a bit. And now chatting on the phone is fine if it's not a distraction, if it's a deliberate use of your time that you're aware of. Talking on the phone to your mum for an hour might be a priority for you, but it's scheduled into your time so that you're not just, you know, it doesn't just drop off all the other things you do because you had something to do in that hour. So watch out for distractions. They are everywhere. People are distractions. Lots of people will try and pull on your time all the time. It's human nature. And other people will try and get you to do stuff for them because that frees up their time, which I'm going to cover again in a minute. So just watch out. Be aware of it. Awareness is a real skill to get, being aware of things that distract you. Number two, balance. Balance is really key. Now, those of you who do any work with me around any of my coaching or mentoring or any of my online stuff will know that I talk about balance a lot, about putting yourself first or putting yourself at least on the list, right? So many of us put ourselves on the bottom of the priority list, and that's why our time disappears, because we don't do anything for ourselves. But you've got to balance your family life, your personal time, your work life. Everything has to be balanced for you to feel good. And it's okay, right, from this, what date are we on? The 21st of June. I want you to know from this point onwards, it's okay to have time for you. Like, filling your own cup up isn't selfish, it's actually crucial for you to be able to achieve the things that you wanted to achieve, to be a good mom, a good wife, a good husband, a good employer, a good employee, a good business person, a good friend, whatever. To be able to be that for other people, you have to be able to look after yourself. So putting yourself in your time management, including things like having a bath on your own in peace without the kids in there, listening to music, maybe just going for a walk, putting your headphones on and listening to some music, getting your nails painted, having date night, watching a TV program purposely on, like, just finding that time to fill your own cup up so you can be more for other people. So we're going to talk about that and factor that into our time, but balance is key, and you have to have that. You have to include something for yourself in your time, in your to-do list that we're going to get rid of anyway, but in your list of things that you need to achieve, the balance is really, really key. So you need to be on there somewhere. So look at your list of to-do things and things you've got to achieve, and where are you on that? And I don't mean doing the shopping and doing the cleaning. I mean things for you, selfish things, if you want to call them that. Selfful, I call them instead. So that's number two, balance is key. Number three, setting your goals right. So it's really important to have powerful, meaningful goals. Because if you're living in the land of the busy, living in the illusion of busy, one of the things we do is we don't have very clear goals, and therefore we never really achieve anything. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you're like, I feel, and a lot of you put your hand up before when I said it, you feel like you're not achieving anything because you don't have any clear, meaningful goals. Now, this isn't a goal setting webinar, but this is what I want you to do just is have a think about what your goals are in your life. Whether they're small goals for the day, whether they're bigger goals for your life, whether they're goals, things you want to achieve this month, this week, are they clear? So what I want you to start thinking about is having SMART goals. So SMART goals are things that you can actually measure. So I'm going to write them on here so you can see. So, oops, not in that, I'm not. A different pen. Can you see that? Yes, good. Okay, so SMART goals. Now, as I said, this isn't a goal setting webinar, but this is something that I could do a whole webinar about. But have a think about your goals that you've got for yourself. And if you don't manage your time properly, everything you're doing needs to be towards achieving these things. So are your goals specific? Oops. Specific. So can you explain what they are? And they're quite specific. So if you want a new car, if you're looking to buy a new car, your goal might be specific. You've got to think what car, what colour, what does it look like? Really specific so that your subconscious is really clear about what you want to achieve. Measurable. Can you measure it? Are you clear what it is? If it's not measurable, how are you going to know when you achieve it? So your goals need to be measurable. You need to be able to say, oh, I don't know, say you want to earn a certain amount of money in your career. That's very measurable. You either earn that or you don't, so you can see that really clearly. So you need to be able to measure what you're trying to achieve, and ideally, like partition that off along the way. Specific, measurable, achievable. Now, I'm all for stretch targets, but they need to be achievable. Otherwise, you're constantly going to be feeling like you haven't achieved anything if they're not achievable. So definitely stretch yourself, but achievable and realistic. You know, it may be you want to learn Russian, but if you're going to be specific about that, it has to be realistic. So don't set yourself a target to be fluent in Russian by the end of next week, because that's not going to happen for anybody unless you're almost there now. So you need to be realistic about what's achievable so that you're very clear about what they are. And then the final one, and this is really important, is time bound. When is it that you want to have achieved that thing by? And this will help you with your time management, because if you set yourself a goal to achieve something by next month, if you wait until the middle of the month to start doing specific things around it, then you're not going to achieve it. So it needs to be clearly time bound. When do you want to have achieved that thing by? So you can then measure how close you are or how far away you are from achieving those things. So getting your goals right is really powerful and really, really important. Number 4 is having a system. Now I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because I'm going to show you a system of how you manage your time. 2 things that I use that have transformed my time management over like the last 5 or 10 years. So I'm going to come back to that one. Number 5 is really looking at like auditing your time and tackling your biggest task first thing in the morning. So tackling your biggest task is something that will really help you get your day off to good momentum. So if you go to bed knowing that you've got something big to do in the morning, it might be a bill you need to pay, it might be a conversation you need to have, it might be I don't know, one of your many things that you know that you need to achieve that day. Do something big first thing in the morning that makes you feel like you've achieved something. Because when we feel like we've achieved something, we go on to achieve more. You see what I mean? So when you know that you've got your big task first thing in the morning, then you can tick it off as soon as possible. So it might be something that you can do before the kids even get out of bed in the morning. It might be something that you do as soon as you get to work. If you've got something that you really need to do for your boss or for yourself at work, do that. Don't put it off and put it off. Do it first thing in the morning, and then you'll find that everything else will start to fall into place as the rest of the day goes on. So you give yourself some momentum. That's number 8. Number 8. Number 8 and number 7 are kind of similar ordered in your time, so we'll call that number 8. Number 9 is, they're all really important, but like another one is scheduling your email and message response time. Okay, so this is something that I learned when I was in my corporate life, which really, really helped me to have specific times when I get back to people. Because a lot of us are very reactionary. So when I was working in my corporate life, I would be sitting at my desk and I had an email pop up thing at the bottom of my laptop. So every time somebody emailed me, it would ping up on my laptop. You've got an inbox from this buyer, an inbox from this person. And I would very often, let me know if this sounds familiar, I would very often stop what I'm doing and go over there and respond to the person who's emailed me. We also do this with ease, Messenger. The minute somebody inboxes us, we're like, oh, we'll stop what we're doing. We might be in the middle of tea with the kids. We might be out for a meal with our partner. We're very reactionary. We're like, oh, someone's messaged me. Need to get back to them straight away. Okay, you don't need to get back to people straight away. That is such a massive time stealer. So if you're conscious of your time, a much better way of managing it is to be really specific about when you respond to people, particularly if you are very reactive in your business or your personal life or your career to inboxes and emails. One of the things a mentor of mine said to me once is it's very rare that people are contacting you because they want to help you. They're nearly always contacting you because they want you to do something for them. So it's always going to be a time stealer by responding to it. So what I did in my corporate life was I was very clear with the people that my customers and people like that. I was like, the times that I reply to emails are as soon as I get into the office, which was like 8 till 9 in the morning, and then 11 till 12 in the lunchtime, and then 4 till 5 before I leave the office. So unless it's urgent, in which case put urgent in the comments and I'll see it and I'll know I need to go over there straight away. That's the time that I'm going to get back to you. So that managed people's expectations brilliantly, so that I was able to get the spreadsheet done, the forecasting done, the thing that I needed to get done in the time that I had around that. And then I knew I had a little alarm on my phone would set off. It was like email response time, messenger response time. Now, when you're in that zone, you'll achieve so much in that hour that you allocate to that message response time. So for those of you who were saying like DMO and things like that before, if you can be clear at what time you are responding to people, and it might be that you do 10 minutes an hour, but you have to manage your own day, how that works. It might be that actually the business that you're in or whatever you're doing, you need to do it more than 3 times a day, in which case do 15 minutes every hour. But don't do on the minute, every 5 minutes, every 5 minutes, every 5 minutes for the whole hour. That is the whole day gone, and all you've done is react to other people's stuff. Okay? So it's a massive thing. And I know, guys, it's difficult, right? I still find it difficult, but it will really help you if you can implement that, the scheduling message time. And it's a real distraction, and it will help you to just manage your time. This is your time. It's your time. So many people will try and pull on that time. So manage that really closely. Like, think of it like someone's gifting you their time. They're giving you a little box every day, every morning with 24 hours in it. And you've got to decide where you're going to spend that time. And so many of us just give it away, or we give an hour here and 5 minutes there and 10 minutes there, and there's nothing left for us to achieve the things that we want to achieve. So manage that time really well. So that's that one, managing scheduling time. Number 10 is eliminating bad habits, right? And it's a little bit like the distractions, but these are things like maybe drinking, they may be something like a Netflix addiction, you may be something like YouTube, maybe Facebook scrolling, things that are massive time stealers, that are bad habits that we all have, right? Things that we do that aren't helping us with any of this stuff, and they're just like a rabbit hole that we end up in. So this is all, again, coming back to what I said right at the beginning about awareness about what you're doing. You have to start being like aware of it and going, oh, right, I need to pull myself back in. And when you get to the clocks that we're going to do at the end, because your time will be more allocated, it will really help you to manage that better. But be very aware of the bad habits, of the people who maybe, sometimes it's people that are bad habits, they actually time steal from us. But things like drinking is a real one. Now, I'm not going to preach to anybody about that, but things like, look at your weekends. Sometimes people in the gym used to say to me, like, oh, I only drink at weekends. I'm like, okay, so when does your weekend start? I'm like, Thursday night. And then when does it finish? Sunday night. I'm like, so you only drink Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's like more than half the week. But because their mindset was I only drink at weekends, it's actually 4 days out of 7. So be really, don't lie to yourself about, and also then you're thinking about, you can be hungover, you can waste the whole of the next day, you feel rubbish, blah, blah, blah. So that's just one example of where things can actually take away our time. And, TV is a real massive distraction, a bad habit for people, a massive time stealer. So have a think about what your bad habits might be and ones that you can start to one by one maybe eliminate over time. Number 11, take frequent breaks. So this is really important. You cannot run on, 24 hours a day, wide awake, working all the time. Taking frequent breaks. If I said to you, right, I want you to work for 7 hours, I want you to do 7 hours of housework or 7 hours of email sending or 7 hours of spreadsheet building or whatever. But that you are going to burn out before you even get past the end of like the second hour. So what's much more effective is saying, right, when you've got something you need to do, is working for, say, 50 minutes and then taking a complete break for 10 minutes. Go and do something else. Go for a walk, go and have a shower, get a coffee, go for a break, have a phone call, maybe scroll on your Facebook if that's what you want to do, as long as you keep it to that time. But it's much more, you will be miles more effective if you give yourself a break. That's where that saying comes from, right? Give yourself a break. So factor your time in and go, right, I'm going to work on my business for those from 7 till 11, but every hour I'm going to take 10 minutes off to do something completely different. Think of it like running, you know, if you're trying to turn out to cycle or run or do some fitness, or if you look at people in the gym lifting weights, they don't go in and pick up heavy weights and just lift them and lift them and lift them for like an hour. They do a set of 8, then they have a rest, then they do a set of 8, and then they have a rest. Our brains are the same, right? You definitely need to factor in breaks where you can. 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off. 50 minutes on, 10 minutes off will be miles more productive for you than 3 hours trying to be on, because you'll get distracted and we lose focus. And number 12 is meditation and exercise. Now, I was never into meditation, didn't understand it, but you need some sort of stress buster, and meditation and exercise are proven to improve your stamina, your focus, your endorphin levels, to settle your mindset a lot of the time. I'm not very good at the meditation thing, but I love the time to do it. So I do it at night before I go to bed. I've got a great app that I recommend called Headspace. There's a free version and there's a paid version. I also have an app that I use called Subliminals, which has got a free version and a paid version as well. Both of them are excellent, but there's stuff on YouTube that's free. You just put sleep meditation or meditation. I actually even do it with my kids. I've got a thing called Meditation for Kids. It is a fabulous way of just chilling people out. When you feel like things are on top of you, then, you know, taking 10 minutes to just listen to some meditation to help you to just take a step back, breathe through what you're doing, and then go back and manage whatever it is that you need to manage. And exercise as well. Factor that into your time. Try and move more. You don't have to be in the gym. You can just go for a walk. You can just go for a little run. You can just go on a bike ride. You can just go play football in the garden with the kids. But factor in some exercise into your life. Okay, the last couple. 13, every night I want you to start planning tomorrow. So rather than going to bed and beating yourself up about what you haven't achieved, we're going to start being active before we go to bed and planning what we're going to do tomorrow. So when I show you the matrix that I'm going to show you in a minute, you can do it that way, or if you like lists and it helps you just brain dump, then do that. But don't just write a list. What I want you to do is add one little bit more on. And I want you to A, B, and C things on your list. So your A's, the A things on your list are the things that get done no matter what. So be really careful what you put an A next to. They're the things that, like, no matter what happens the next day, they're going to get done. So your A's are really important. It might be a bill you need to pay, a conversation you need to have, something you need to do for the kids for school, something you need to do for your boss. But your A things, they're really super important. And then you can B and C, and that's the order the next day that you've worked through. So when you're looking at your time and what you've got, and when you suddenly sometimes you find you've got 10 minutes spare, you can see exactly in priority order what needs to get done. That will really help you as well. But planning the night, so have a book by your bed, just a notebook or something, so you can literally get into bed and just spend 5 minutes planning the morning, planning the day, or the things that you don't want to forget to get done the next day. Finding inspiration. So that's something that I think you need inspiration for when you're in a funk. So when you feel down, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like you can't get anything done, when you're frustrated, finding where your inspiration is. So things like TED Talks. I use YouTube for everything. YouTube is amazing. It's like a free university of stuff and people who can help you through stuff. So I've used your notes in your phone and save the things that you find useful. I've got a YouTube channel. If you want to go on that, there's about 100 videos there, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, loads of different stuff on there. But things that you can help you, the inspiration that you'll need when you're in a funk. So you don't stay in it, because being in a funk, being cross and angry and frustrated and all of that, that's a massive time stealer, because we sit there for ages and we moan about it, or we'll complain about stuff to anybody who will listen. And before you know it, half the day's gone and all we've done is moan about what went wrong on the drive to work this morning. So getting yourself out of a funk is really important. So find some inspiration, save the videos, save the YouTube, save the song that makes you feel great, or whatever it is. So when you feel that funk creeping up on you, or when it smacks you in the face when one of the kids are driving you mad, or whatever it is, you know what your go-to song is, the thing that makes you feel great. The next one is finding a mentor. I think this is crucial. Someone to guide you, someone who you respect, who you look up to, who is there for you, someone who's been through the wrangler and come out the other side. So somebody who can help you to stay on track. Someone you can talk to. It might be someone at your work, it might be a friend, it might be a business coach or a life coach, it might be someone in your business. It could be it could be a partner potentially. It depends, not always, because they're sometimes too close to us to be able to give us like an overarching view. But find a mentor or somebody that you can bounce things off, that you can go and talk to, that you can say, this is going on and I feel like this, and they know how to help you manage that. That is something I do as a one-to-one for a lot of people. I also do some online programs that I'll talk about at the end. So if that's something you're interested in, drop me a line and I'll help you with that. But go and find somebody, whether it's me or somebody else or whatever, somebody who can help you, who's gone through some of the stuff that you might be going through, and help you to manage it. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be somebody that you know very well. Just go and have a look around. I've got a business coach. I've got like a friend who I can talk to about everything, and then I've got like a life coach. But I've also got, I want to get really good at something, then go and find someone who's really good at it and get them to show you what to do. So when I wanted to do an Ironman, I didn't just go, I'll just go and learn it. I went and got a coach. I went with someone, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I get through this? I'm feeling like this. And look at all the top people who, I don't know, tennis players and footballers, and they don't get to the top and then go, I don't need anybody else anymore. People who really want to achieve something, time management, success, whatever it is, they go and find somebody to help them do it. So find a mentor or a coach or somebody that is, been through what you're going through or achieved something that you want to achieve, and get them to help you. The last two, this one I love and you're going to hate, is turning off your notifications. I noticed somebody, I think it was Lissy, said before, turning off your notifications on this is it's liberating, right? Absolutely liberating. Even if it's just so that if you start off small, start off doing it so that you can just get stuff done. Turning off your notifications so that your phone isn't going ping, 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 because it stresses you out and you're like, oh my God, 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 all these things to answer to. 90% of it is irrelevant stuff that you don't need anyway. So if you look at your phone now, if you're not on your phone and you look at your phone, and when you turn it on, your screen should be, nice and blank like that. If your screen is full of notifications, it'll stress you out and it'll take up your time, because before you know it, you've gone down the habit of, what have I been tagged in? What have I got to get back to? Turn your exactly that, Bethany. When you look at your phone in the morning, mine looks like that. Apart from, I think it says I've sent an email or something like that. But most of my notifications are switched off. If I know that I'll have messages to respond to, I know that I'll have been tagged in things, and I'll have Facebook notifications, but I can go into Facebook and I can see what's there. I don't need to have it all on here. Turning your notifications off will just free up your mind. If you really struggle with doing that, what you can do is manually turn off the ones that you don't need. Okay, so turn off, you don't have to have all your notifications on for every app that you've got. Like for some reason, I've got FIFA notifications at the minute. So every time somebody scores a goal, I get a notification on my phone in the World Cup. Right? I don't need that on. So I can go in and manually switch it off and maybe just leave one or two on that you really need. So I have my WhatsApp notifications switched on, for example, but I don't have the content. It just says husband's message, this friend's message, this Ironman person's message. I can't see what it is. I have to go into it to see it. But exactly that, your inbox, you have to manage it like as if it was your secretary managing your diary. Okay, you have to start managing it. What we're probably all at this point is our diary, our inbox is managing us, our notifications are managing us. We have to change that over here, so we're managing that. So try that. It will help you, I promise. And then the last one, before I move on to the two things that I really want to share with you, is declutter. Tidy house, tidy mind, right? Now, but I want to give you a tip about this. Don't try and tidy the whole house or the whole kitchen or the whole bedroom. How many of you have ever decided you're going to clean out your wardrobe and within an hour you turn around and your bedroom's like a disaster zone? There's just clothes everywhere and you're like, I don't know why I started this, right? So, but what you can do, and I really recommend, is one drawer at a time, one cupboard at a time, one box at a time. So if you want a really tidy, clean, and amazing kitchen, do one cupboard at a time. So just go, today I'm going to do that cupboard with the pots and pans in. Tomorrow I'm going to do my spice rack. the next day I'm going to do that drawer, the nick drawer in my bedroom. Over time, the whole house will be decluttered, but just get a bin bag and a drawer and go through it one a day. When you do that, you will declutter your whole house, and when you get through it, you just start again, because what I tend to find is when I create a space in my house, somebody fills it with something. Always. But you can go back and start all over again. But it's so, you have to be able to do this and think. What we try and do historically, or what you have been probably doing up to now, is try to do everything in one go. So I'm going to clean the house like that. I'm going to iron the whole basket of ironing. I'm going to do all the washing, and that is quite daunting. So manage your own expectations here. Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Can you do one cupboard a day? Yeah, definitely. Can you do one drawer a day? Yeah, definitely. On the compound effect will be that you'll start to get on top of things really, really well. Right. So what I want to share with you is what I call my signal looked like it went there. What I call the Covey priority matrix. So the Covey priority matrix is amazing for helping you to manage your to-do list. How many of you have a to-do list? Or, you know, where you write down, how many of you ever get through all of it? Not really. So it's kind of is just a list for us to beat ourselves over the head with, right? So what I want to do is share with you something that has helped me immeasurably over the years, and it's called a priority matrix. Okay, I've actually written it out here if you can read that. Okay, so I might actually just draw it out for you actually better than that. So, right, so get your piece of paper, and I want you to just draw like a big cross in it like that. So this is going to help you, rather than have a list of things to beat yourself up with, we're going to create what's called the Covey priority matrix. So up in here, we're going to put on the top, urgent, and down this side, we're going to put important, okay? And then we've got high and low. Everybody with me so far? Okay? So, all your things that you need to do, whether they're business, personal, are going to go on this matrix, so that you can see on one sheet of paper exactly what the importance of all of your to-do lists are. So even things like sorting out the kids' PE kit, doing the packed lunch, anything that you need to do, paying a bill, writing a spreadsheet, doing your dissertation, whatever it is, right? So what in this box here, we've got what is important and urgent in this box here. So this is what I call important urgent. So important urgent is things that absolutely have to get done, like absolute priority. Like they might be things that you put off and put off and put off. So it might be a phone call, it might be a bill. Quite often it's a bill that needs paying. It might be a phone call you need to make. It might be a spreadsheet that your boss needs. It might be like month ends, things that need to be done. So things that absolutely have to get done are an important urgent. So they're not just important, but they're urgent. They need to get done now. What you've got over here then is important but not urgent. Important, not urgent. So that is ideally things like, I don't know, let's see, it might be paying for the kids' school trip. Right, but it's not due till Friday, so it's important, it needs to get done, but it's not urgent. It's not going to, the world's not going to cave in if you don't do it tomorrow. So it might be, again, it might be paying some bills that need doing. It might be an email that you need to send. I don't know, whatever you want to do is, but have a think like, is it important? Yeah, it's important. Is it urgent that I do it straight away? No. Okay, so have a think about what's important and urgent. In here, we've got, I've forgotten what that one is. Urgent but not important. But low importance. And in this one, you've got not urgent and not important. So things like urgent but not important could be something like a haircut, right? It might be, in your head, it's really urgent, but in the grand scheme of life, it's not mega important unless you've got, I don't know, a big date or something that he's doing. Something that's urgent but not important. So, and then this one, not urgent and not important, is very often what other people want us to do. So not urgent, not important, doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't need doing at all, but very often these are what I would call the things that we can dump. So it might be, it could be you're speaking to somebody, it could be doing something for somebody else that actually has got no benefit to you whatsoever. Urgent, not important might be something like I said, like a hairdressing appointment. So it's urgent, but it's not mega important. There's loads of things. So have a think about your to-do list. If you put it into this and then move things around, you'll find that what you want to be doing is operating here. You want to be operating in important, so it deserves your time, but not urgent. And that takes the stress out. What we do as human beings is we operate here. Urgent and important equals stressed out. So over time, you'll start to learn, if you follow this thing, that this is when you start to, if you can do things when they're in that box, they don't ever then move into this box. Everything in this box was in this box to start with. It wasn't always urgent, we just didn't do it most times. Anything down here, question whether you actually need to do it at all. And this one, urgent but not important. If it's not important, just question whether you actually need to do it. Okay, so hopefully that'll help. I'm having a quick look now to see if we've got any questions that quickly need doing before I move on to the last thing. My sister came on last week and helped me with the questions. It was really handy. Okay, cool. Don't worry if you've lost, if you've lost connection or whatever, that's absolutely fine. We can, you can, hopefully I'll send you the recording out. Okay, so the last thing, and this is probably the most important or most beneficial part of this whole thing. So what I want you to do is get a fresh piece of paper. Ideally, if you're using a notebook, do something like this. You've got two different sides like that. And we're going to do our time clocks, right? Time clocks are, I learned this when I was trying to manage building a part-time business alongside a full-time job, okay? So, excuse me, the clocks are something that even if you've done them before, I recommend that you do them again because our daily life changes and our needs change. So I'm going to talk you through, and what I'm going to do is share with you what mine looked like when I was working full-time and trying to build a part-time business and be a mum all at the same time. Everybody's will be different. You have to fill it in for you. So you can draw it out now and try and work it out, but maybe go back and do it again later. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw two big circles like that. Can you see that? Yeah, two big circles like that. So they're two clocks. And then you're going to do 12, 6, 3, and 9. And again on this one, 12, 6, 3, and 9. Wobbly clocks. Artwork's not important. Okay, and then we're going to put 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the top, little dot in, and the same on the top and the bottom. Okay, so you should have what looks like that. Two clocks. Everybody with me? I'll turn the chat on so I can see that. Okay, cool. So this is AM and this is PM. And what I want to do hopefully here, whenever I do this with people, and I sit down and I do it with clients and I do it with my team members when they go, I haven't got time, we do this, and everybody without fail goes, oh, I've actually got quite a lot of time. Just didn't realise. So that's what I'm hoping that you guys will get to from doing this. It'll just take us 5 or 10 minutes to do and then we're done. Okay, so AM and PM. So start off with, what time do you go to bed? So let's say in an ideal world, we're going to go to bed at 11 o'clock. Now I know some of it's later and blah, 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 but we're going to say 11 o'clock just for the purposes of these spots. So if you go to bed at 11 o'clock, on your PM chart, I want you to just shade out 11 till 12 like that. Okay? And then on your 8, so you sleep 11 till 12. And then what time do you get up? So let's say we're going to get up at 6. So we're asleep from 12 midnight through to 6 in the morning. So all of this time here, my camera's more running out. Okay, so all of this time here, we are sleeping. Okay. We're going to have to invest in some new pens at some stage, guys. Okay, so there we're sleeping. Now, little tip. as we go through this. Little tip. If you really genuinely struggle for time after this and you're still struggling, try and do this and get up an hour earlier. I cannot tell you the difference it'll make to your life. That hour, particularly for those of you who've got children, if you can get up before they do, if you can get up and get stuff done, that hour, 1 hour here is almost worth about 4 or 5 hours later on in the day, because you've got quiet, your email's not going, your notifications aren't going, your inbox isn't pinging, you're not reacting to stuff, you're getting stuff done. You can work through your important urgent in that hour. So I would really recommend that you have a serious think about getting up an hour earlier and just starting your day and getting productive. What I started doing, since I've started doing this, it means that when my kids are awake, which I'm going to share with you in a minute, I am not on my phone, I'm not doing anything else, I'm with my family. So remember what we talked about, balance, right? This is going to help you with your balance. So we're getting up at 6, okay? And then so from 6, let's say from 6 till 7, we are getting ready for work. Now I'm going to hope for you guys that your kids get out of bed at 7 o'clock. They maybe get up at 6, I don't know, you have to make this for you, but let's say your kids are in bed till 7. From 6 till 7, you've got an hour to get showered, dressed, ready, listen to an audio, like really get your day started. You may be able to respond to messages. So what are you doing in that hour? How long does it, if it takes you an hour to get ready, normally do you really need an hour? Can you do it in half an hour? Can you make this one a bit more like that? So what I'm going to suggest you do is separate that time from 6 till 6:30. If you're building a business part-time, or if you're trying to do something else alongside your full-time job or alongside your kids, from 6 till 6:30, make that your business building time, your DMO time, your important urgent business time, is that's 6:30 till 7. And then this time here, let's use a different colour, you're going to be getting ready for whatever you need to do. Getting yourself dressed, washed, teeth brushed. Okay, so that when your kids get out of bed at 7 o'clock, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just reading your comment there, Bethany. I'm going to do a webinar on how to help manage your children in the morning. So many people they get up really early, and I reckon there's a load of need for people to help help you with learning how to get your kids to stay in bed. Anyway, so if it is 5:30, then you do those clocks this way around, because ideally they have a nap later on, and what are you doing in that time? So from 7 o'clock, what I want you to do is from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock, let's say that's when your children are getting up and getting ready for school. This little gadget goes in a drawer, okay? Your phone is going in a drawer because you need to balance your time. And here's why. If your family feel like they never have your time, if you're always on your phone, you're always on Zoom calls, you're always chatting, if you haven't got kids, it's even easier. But even if you've got a partner or friends or family or anything, sometimes when we're on our phones all the time, it can be really difficult for people to feel like they've got any, or even for you to separate yourself and actually go and get things done that you need to get done. Okay, so if you have kids, if you don't have kids, you just do this chart this way. I'm just doing it my way so that you can see how my chart worked. If you don't have kids, do it that way, differently for you. Or if you're not working, everybody's different. Some people work shifts patterns and you need a different chart for every day, but it really will help you to manage your time, segmenting it out. This time here, if you have kids and you've got to get them ready for work, for school, this is their time, right? This is the time when you're getting them up, getting them dressed, getting breakfast, getting packed lunches, all of that stuff that many of us have to do in the morning. I want you to really start, you will manage that a lot better if you're not trying to respond to emails and respond to messengers and post on your Facebook and everything all at the same time. Okay, so this hour here, now, this thing, if you need to do that, is going in a drawer, and this is the time when you're getting everything ready for them, the people that need you in the morning. Okay, so we're going to call that kid time. If you don't have kids and you're just going to work, that's fine, do that, but you have even more time if that's the case. But make sure that that time is productive. Don't just spend it watching telly or whatever. Okay, 8 till 9, generally, people are driving, whether you're driving to work, dropping the kids at school. Driving generally is traveling time from 8 till 9. If you have kids, it'll be taking them to school or whatever, but this time we're going to start using productively. So I want you to, if you're trying to do self-development, if you're trying to learn a new language, or this is the time when you can learn stuff in your car. It's what we call kind of dead time. when you're just listening to the radio or like not learning anything. So if you've got audios or you want to do personal development, I'm very into personal development. This was the time I did it. And this is what I recommend that you do. So here, we're going to call it personal development time. So whether it's YouTube, some of you I know have like businesses where you need to be on Zoom and things like that the night before. If you can't get on a call, or if you want to do something like, you don't always have to listen, or you don't always have to be on it live. Sometimes you can listen back to it afterwards and listen to it in the car. If you are listening to YouTube links or anything like that, very often you don't need to watch them. Sometimes we're just watching people talk. Well, you can just listen to somebody talk. So do that in the car and use your time in the car or traveling, whatever way you travel, on the bus or on the train or whatever. Even if you have kids, they don't have to listen to nursery rhymes in the car. They can listen to Jim Rohn. He's got a sing-songy voice. My kids know most of that building your network marketing business audio inside out. It's actually really good for them to listen to personal development. Okay, now let's assume then that you'll get to work, wherever it is that you work, and you start at 9 o'clock. So this is the biggest thing that I have people saying to me when they don't have time, is that they're working all the time and then the kids take up the rest of the time. Okay? So if you're working from 9, let's assume from 9 till 12, you're at work, okay? So we're going to factor in at work. Now remember, if you're at home, if you're working from home or you're an at-home mom, you have got to work this diary, this clock out for you. But if you're at work or in, you might be in somebody else is managing your time, have a think, in that 3 hours, can you take a break? Can you grab, and I want you to start looking for, in that 3 hours, 2 5-minute sections, ideally 2 10-minute sections. So I'm going to say from between 10 and 11, you grab 10 minutes, and between 11 and 12, you grab 10 minutes. Whether it's going to the toilet, whether it's going for a coffee, just finding time when you can get away from your desk or get away and just go. And remember what I said about taking breaks. It may be that you just take a break, or if you're trying to manage things like building a DMO or building a business online, use those 10 minutes productively. So when you know that you've got messages to get to, these might be the times when you're responding to things. So people know that from 10 till 10 past 10 and from 5 past 11 to 11:15 that you're going to be responding to messages or you're going to be talking to people. But you have to also remember that in those 3 hours you're at work. So you have got other priorities, but you can find little pieces of the day here and there, the 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Catherine, if you don't have time for a break, I get that, but you definitely need to go to the toilet. So what do you do if you have to go to the loo? So you'll be amazed the little bits of time that you can find in the day that will just pop up. So the most important thing is knowing when you have those little breaks in the day, little pop-up things that appear, that what you're going to do in that time, and we don't waste them. Okay, so now that's our morning. We've slept, we've got ready for work, we've got the kids dropped off if we've got them, and we're at work and we've done the morning. Yeah, I'm always on the phone sat on the loo, always. This comes everywhere with me. So if I'm going to the toilet, the amount of messages I've sent while I'm on the loo, you're sitting there anyway, you may as well make use of the time, right? Nobody knows. Maybe don't do a Zoom call or a Facebook Live, but you can definitely send some messages. You can definitely respond to people in that time if you need to. For driving as well, you can voice note people, not voice note people when you're driving, but you can listen to messages, you can listen to audios, etc., etc. Right, we're in the PM. Okay, there's always tweaks to this, guys. You've got to make it work for your own. The point is the principle of it. Yeah, don't voice note during a week, and don't Zoom call when you're on the loo either. I've had that before. That's an interesting one. Right, so this is about you, man. It's the concept I want you to get of just literally chunking out your time. Right, we're in the afternoon. Ideally, you get a lunch break. Now, I'm a realist. I never used to get like an hour for lunch. Like, that doesn't happen anymore, is it? But if you're entitled to lunch, which everybody is, then at least take half an hour, 20 minutes. Like, you're entitled to it. So let's say you get half an hour at 12 o'clock. Okay, so from half an hour from 12 o'clock, you are business building. Or if you're not building a business, you are doing something that's on your matrix that needs doing. The bill that needs paying, the phone call that needs doing, whatever it is. That's your 12 till past. If you need to eat, do that at the same time. But very often we eat at our desks. I mean, how many of us do that, right? I used to do that all the time, eat at my desk. But instead of eating at my desk and doing a spreadsheet for my boss, what I started doing was eating at my desk and doing something for me for half an hour, whatever that might be. Okay, but factoring that in so the day doesn't run away with us. But then the rest of the afternoon, we're probably still at work. So I'm going to guess that most of us work till about 5, right? Whatever it is for you might be different, but let's say you're at work till 5. Again, a bit like the afternoon, right? Or what about the morning, sorry, factor in where you can take 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Ideally, you should be looking at taking a 15-minute break somewhere. So I'm going to say around about 3 o'clock. We're just going to take some sort of break in the day. Now, I promise you this, right? If you work for somebody else, if you don't take a break, it's very rare they're going to come up to you and say, do you want to take a break? Do you want 15 minutes off? But you are entitled to it. If you're working full time, you are entitled to a break. So just go for a wee, go and hide in the toilets if you need to, but go and take that time out for you to do the things that you need to do in that time. Okay, 1 second, I'm just doing this. Okay, so, but the rest of the time, where's my pen gone? You are at work. What colour are we there? At work. Okay, so now, this was obviously my day, roughly speaking. One of the other things you can do, by the way, guys, especially if you're a little bit freer or your kids are a little bit older or whatever, factor in your exercise time in the morning as well. So if you've got this time here where you don't have to get kids ready or whatever, do your exercise then. You'll burn calories for the rest of the day if you do your exercise in the morning. Even if you have got little people to get ready or whatever, do a quick HIIT workout, a MetaFit or something in the living room that you can do in 20 minutes. Just to get that exercise in the day, but factor it in, because I promise you, when you get to this point in the day, you're knackered. Like, oh, I can't be bothered now, it doesn't matter, I won't do it, I'll do it later, I'll do it when the kids go to bed, and then it won't happen. So if you haven't exercised at this point or done something for you, we're going to factor that into the evening so that you get some you time in here, right? And this is where it gets fun, right? The evening. So most of this time has been allocated to other people so far. So 5 o'clock, hopefully you're on you're driving again. So you're either driving home or you're picking up the kids from wherever they are. So between 5 and 6, we tend to be driving or moving or traveling about, okay? I'm just going to put driving. Again, that's another good half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever it is for you, when you can be doing personal development, you can be listening to audios, you can be building your knowledge base. And how much time we spend sitting in the car that we just waste listening to the radio or getting stressed out in traffic. You start to use that time productively. That traveling time, using that productively, absolutely transformed my whole life, not just my business. So, and again, picking up the kids from school or childminders or wherever they need to be. So we're going to get home at 6, right? Now, this is what I used to call the witching hour when my kids were little. Like, everybody's hungry, everybody's tired, everybody wants to talk to you, and you're like, oh, I've been at work all day, I've got all these messages I need to get back to, and this is when we start to get stressed out. So we're going to compartmentalize our evening so that we can manage that time better. All right, feeding time at the zoo, absolutely. Everyone's hungry, everyone's tired, everybody wants your attention, everybody's got stuff to tell you. Your husband then goes, well, I've been at work all day as well, or your partner does, or whatever. So we're going to try and manage this bit better for you. So from 6 till 7. Now I'm going to give you my example. You can move this around up or down depending on how old your kids are or whether you've got kids or not, or a partner or not, okay? But I'm going to give you my example. So my kids, when I was doing this first, were like 3 and 5. They're now 8 and 10, but still need my time. And your husband or your partner wants your time, or your friends need your time, and you need your time. So from 6 till 7, we're going to call that the children's hour, right? So 6 till 7 is really when, ideally, when your kids are little, they need bathing and they're going to bed. And if you know, when I was building my business at the beginning, my kids were small and they were in bed by 7. But I made that like a rule. So they had my undivided attention in that time. There was feeding, there was chatting about the day, we would sit down together. But there's a lot you can achieve as a family in an hour. And when your family know, like I would talk to your partner or your loved ones about this and go, this is your time here. Right? So they know that this bit here, you're not going to be on your phone, you're not going to be messaging people, you're going to be in the zone with them. That's their time. But they also know then, when everyone's gone to bed and the kids are quiet and whatever, your partner, husband, now what I used to do, ideally, so that I could get on with stuff later on, from sort of 7 till 7:30, sometimes 7 till 8 if I was feeling really generous, that's husband hour. That was the time when we sat down, we talked about our day, we might have a glass of wine together, we would talk about things, we would chat about the day, how was your... So I wouldn't be going, just a minute, all night, right? So that time there, that was absolutely where we would maybe just have dinner together or chat or whatever, right? That's like, we call it partner time. Because how many of you get constant grief for being on your phone in the evening? So you have to try and understand what that looks like from somebody else's point of view. So when you're saying, right, this is the children's hour, this is the partner hour-ish, half an hour is usually enough for them. You're trying to build a future for all of you, right? So half an hour of tea and whatever, that gives you another half an hour here till 8 o'clock to do something for yourself, right? So this is your time. Now, depending on how well you get on with your partner, your time might be something that you do together. I don't know, right? That makes up to you. But this bit here, 7:30 till 8, is you. It might be going for a run. I recommend going for a walk or a run. If you want to get exercise in and you want to do something for you, stick your headphones on and go for a walk in that half an hour. If you can't get to a gym or you can't factor that in. I used to go to the gym here, 5:30 and 6 in the morning, because it was the only time that I could fit it in. But if you can't do that, this is the time when you can factor in something like that, a workout video, anything like that. You know, Davina McCall workout video is still one of the best on the market, right? Stick it in your DVD. But here, now, you've had partner time, you've had kid time. This is now 8 o'clock at night. Everybody's had a piece of you. You've had a little bit of you, and you've now got from 8 till 11 free to do Zoom calls, to do messaging, to watch an hour of a film if that's what you decide to do, to allocate the things that you need to do. So go back and look at your matrix. What were the things that you said you were going to get done? Because you now have here 8 till 9, 9 till 10, and 10 till 11. So I would call that the 8 till 11 club. Some people call it the 7 to 11 club if you can actually get everything done by 7. But you have got a good 3 hours there on an average where you can actually get so much done if you're productive in that time. But you need to know what you're going to do in that time. So that's where you look at your DMO, you look at the things you want to achieve, you look at your list of people that you want to follow up with, conversations that you need to have. You also look at things like the washing that needs doing, the housework that needs doing, anything like that that's on your list of things that need to get done. It can happen in this time. So you can compartmentalize that 3 hours if you want to. But what I wanted to show you was you actually have, if you work it out for yourself, you can factor in everything. 3 hours here is loads of time. Even if you didn't manage to do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, a little 15 minutes here and 10 minutes there, even if you didn't manage that, there you go. Just on the clock, I have 6 or 7 hours free time if I do it properly. And that is not unusual. This, if you look at it properly and do it properly, will transform your time management. It will optimize your time massively, because even if you don't have these little bits in there, you can't go to the toilet all day or whatever. And I know actually some doctors and nurses just don't. Midwives, they just have to hold on to it. You still have this time here, right? You still have this time here. If you have a baby who sleeps in the daytime, trust me, having 2 kids that don't obviously do that, when that stops, you wonder what on earth, how you ever used to get anything done, right? Because that time goes when they stop sleeping. If you've got a toddler at home, look at when are the baby clubs, when can you go to a play group, when can you get them into childcare for a couple of hours a week even, and factor in what are you going to do in this time. This is so much about not wasting time anymore. So that's what I wanted to help you to see, is work these clocks out. Now, as I said, you might need to do one for Monday, one for Tuesday, one for Wednesday. What I've got is weekdays. And as my kids have got older, I've had to factor in things like, you know, school trips and netball and football. And here, you know, I am now a mum cab, a mum taxi, right? So that has to be factored into our life as well. But because I did this early on, I was able to build my part-time business without, I don't know if there's any kids off, but without annoying my whole family, without not spending, I was able to say, right, actually next week I've got a hen do, I've got a party to go to, I've got a business to build, I've got a husband to keep happy and kids. How am I going to factor all that in? I'm going to draw this out and I'm going to work out who gets my time when and when have I got time for me. Does that make sense? Is it helpful? Good. Okay. Good question. Have kids to be involved in doing their own clocks? Oops. Ideally, you can do, yeah. I mean, definitely, if you think it would be beneficial for you to have your kids doing clocks as well, then definitely it's so beneficial for the whole family to sit down and see all this together, so that you can all see it together. Really, obviously, a little bit aware of time, and I wanted to share with you, if you found this useful, and please do let me know, give me any feedback. I'm honest, I'm totally open to inboxes and messages, and my email address is really easy to find. I've actually got a short presentation that I completely forgot to use, so there you go. I actually had all of this written down, but because you are on this webinar, I want to give you access to an online training course that I have, which is just a 5-week online program, which is a lot more of this kind of stuff. Managing your time, managing your self-confidence. A lot of that comes from managing your time. When you feel on top of things, how much better is your life generally? When you feel like you're in control of what is going on, when you feel like you can achieve things and achieve the things that you want to do, everything else starts to go better. So I have got a 5-week online program that's going to start a week on Monday, and for everybody who registered for this webinar, I'm going to send you an email with the details of how you can sign up for that online program at a much reduced price from what it actually is. So it's normally $197 for the whole 5 weeks. The 5 weeks we cover things like time management, we cover things like self-confidence, self-belief, we cover things like your inner circle, managing your friendship groups, all sorts of things. I know a few of you that are on this webinar have done it before. I also have another one that's called the next level, and the next level is for people who've either done the first program or who already have a level of self-confidence and actually just want to step it up a notch. My passion, guys, is all about giving you the tools to be able to take control of your life, whether that's the time of your life, whether that's your voice and being heard, whatever it is for you. So I wanted that there's 2 5-week programs that are starting a week on Monday. So keep an eye out in your inbox. I will send you the link. If you wanted to sign up for that, I'm going to let you have a really reduced price until 12 o'clock tomorrow. So all you've got to do to get what is normally $197, it's going to be available for £97 just to you guys on this webinar until tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So I will send you an email, hopefully a reminder, but I think something like 19% of people open emails, right? So what you need to do, I'm going to write it in the comments because I've forgotten to open my, you go to this website, it's www.msnedden.com/CFW online. Okay, so that is the website that you need to go to get that offer, and it's only available for you guys until 12 o'clock tomorrow. After that, the program goes up to 147, so it's still 50 quid less than normal, and you've got till 12 o'clock on Sunday to get it for 147, and then it's open to everybody else at 197. So it's msnedden.com/CFW online. If you want to ask me anything about that, my email address that you can email me at is hello@msnedden.com. You can email me on there. You can get me on Facebook Messenger pretty easily if you prefer to do it that way. A lot of you have messaged me on my phone saying you're interested in the one-to-one coaching. If that's something that you're interested in, message me on that as well. Just send me an email, hello@msnedden.com, or on my messenger on Facebook, and I'll send you the information of what that is involved and how you get involved in that. But the online program, guys, is closed. So tomorrow till 12, tomorrow lunchtime, you've got to get it for 97 if you want to do it. If you don't, and this is all you needed, thank you so much for just getting involved. And you know what I would love, if you feel, just let me know how you get on with the clocks. Let me know how you get on with the tips. What was the most useful thing that you learned? Feedback is so helpful. If you thought it was crap, send me an email and tell me that too, or an inbox, and let me know why you didn't like it or it was a waste of time or whatever. But if you liked it and you thought it was useful, what did you like the best? What would you like to hear more of? Everything I do is built around people coming to me and saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. And it all comes from stuff that I needed when I was, stressed out about everything and building. And so, if you get use out of it, get more of it. When I said right back in the first things, getting a mentor or a coach or whatever, really, you guys are already a step ahead of everybody. 300 people signed up for this webinar, and I think we had like 70 on it. That's what people do, right? People sign up for stuff and they never follow it up, and that's cool. It's absolutely fine, but it's absolutely, you guys are a step ahead of everybody who is still going to say tomorrow, I can't manage my time, I can't do this, it's too difficult, etc., etc. So you now know some of the tools, and feel free to share them. It's not, if you want to take your team through the clocks, do that. I've got a video on YouTube of time management if you want to watch it again. This stuff is for you guys to help you to manage your business. Thanks for the feedback, guys. I really appreciate that. Has anybody got any quick questions that they would like to ask me while you're on? You can unmute yourselves or you can pop it in the comments. I've got like 5 minutes before I need to go and my kids go to bed, unfortunately, kind of here now. So my clocks are quite different now. I think somebody said you'd like to know how to get your kid to bed before 11. Did I see that on one of the comments? Wake up at 6 a.m. best challenge ever to get things done. Yeah, it makes a massive difference. I got up at 5 this morning and then did 6 a.m. power Zoom with the team. And by 7 o'clock, the kids were still asleep, and I'd like done a whole day's worth of activities. Unreal. Thanks, Lissy. Appreciate that. I'm glad it makes sense, Michelle. You signed up, Nicola. Brilliant. That's excellent. That was quick. Where did I see that? Your son uses clock scheduling too. It's really helpful, Alex. I love that too. It will work for you, Helen, without a doubt. Right? Has anybody got anything pressing that I haven't covered? Watching this from Australia. Cool. That's good to know. So do you do daily clocks or just your list to do, then just fit it in when it's work time? So it depends. I would recommend doing, if your work schedule is always like 9 till 5 or whatever, I would recommend just do as little as you can manage. So if your work schedule is generally always the same, then just do 1 clock for the week and maybe another one set of clocks for the week and another set of clocks for the weekend, so that you can just manage your time that way. You don't necessarily need a different clock for every day if your days are very similar. In terms of your to-do list and fit it in when it's work time, you need to know what you're going to do in that time. The two go really hand in hand. There's no point in going, oh, I've got 15 minutes and not knowing what you're doing, because it'll go like that. So you need to know when you've got your 15 minutes from 3 or 4 past what you're actually doing in that time. Hope that answers your question, Helen. Not a morning person, so I always stay behind when everyone is in bed. Oh, I see what you mean. Morning, I dread doing things. You have to do what works for you, right? Some people don't do mornings, and that's fair enough. You might stay up later, but morning is it's a good time. It's you have to practice it, right? It's not easy. Every morning when my alarm goes off, I don't want to get up, but once I'm up, I feel great. I grab a coffee, I take my shakes and my capsules, and I get honestly so much done in the mornings. But if you're not a morning person, that doesn't work for you. Shift that clock round a little bit and maybe stay up an hour later. You might find actually from 11 till 12, yeah, that's when you're really productive. And actually, a little tip for you guys, if you don't already do it, if you're using Facebook for social media purposes, if you're using Facebook for business building, here's a little tip for you. I'm going to see how many people are. Okay, so when you go onto your messenger, you can go. I don't know if you can see my phone here. If I put it there, you know that there, you can kind of see the messenger. You know where all your messages are. Yeah, go onto that on your phone. And then you can do it now if you're on a laptop and have a look. And at the second box in, it will say active. And if you see where it says active, it's hard to see on here, but this is my Messenger app. You know what I mean, on your Facebook. So it says messages and then it says active. Can you see that on your phone if you're looking at it? Yeah, I'm looking at you, Lou, because I can see you. Okay. If you go on there and look at that, it'll say active, and hopefully if you've got yours switched on, it'll give you a number in there. So mine currently says 821. So that tells me how many of my Facebook friends are currently active on Facebook, right? So for example, when I looked at that this morning at 6 o'clock, I'll tell you now, I'm keeping a note of that. So for example, this morning at 10 past 6, that number was 285. And then at 10:53, it was 585. And then at 2:51, it was 651, and so on and so on and so on, right? And now at 10 past 10, it's 826. So if you're interacting with people, and that's part of what you're trying to do, have a look at how many of the people that you're interacting with. If you're going to use your DMOs, messaging people or posting stuff or whatever it is, or doing a Facebook Live, for example, have a look and see, is that a good time to do it? Or are there a lot of people online at that time? And it'll be different depending on your demographic, depending on the people that you have on your Facebook. But that is such a handy little thing, because I always thought that there was a lot of people on Facebook first thing in the morning. And actually, a lot of my demographic, they're not on Facebook until after 8 o'clock. Because they're getting the kids sorted and they're going to work and stuff like that. So it's really helped me to think, if I'm going to do a Facebook Live, it's probably better to do it between 8 and 8:30 than between 7 and 7:30, for example. So managing my time much more effectively, because then I can see I'm interacting with more people, and that half an hour is suddenly better used than it was before. Does that make sense? That's one little tip. Another little tip, which is nothing to do with time management, but might just help you out. So I'm all about sharing. If you are struggling with interaction on your Facebook a little bit, is sometimes, like, you hear about Facebook algorithms and that kind of thing can be an absolute nightmare, right? A little tip that's really working for me, 2 tips. Number 1 is, before you post on Facebook or social media, warm up your algorithm. So what I mean by that is, go onto your Facebook or your social media for 5 minutes before you post anything and start interacting on other people's. Like a few things, comment on a few things, share a few things, right? Like, not share a few things. So it's, think of it like warming up your algorithm, like warming up your market before you post anything. So check your active number and then warm up your market, because what it'll do is Facebook will literally go, oh, she's awake. She's interacting, she's seeing things. When you then post something on your Facebook, instantly more people will see it than saw it before, because you've warmed up your algorithm. And then go back after you've posted, maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, and do it again. Like and comment, like and comment. So if you're going to do that as part of your DMO, do it at the best time. If you're liking and commenting as part of your DMO, then do it at a time when you know it's going to actually have the most benefit. And then the second little tip, when somebody comments on something of yours, go back and comment underneath it, because that interaction is what Facebook wants. Facebook is a relationship-based business, so they want to see you building relationships. So when someone comments on something that you post, go back, thanks for the comment, or that's what I thought too, or anything, an emoji, a thumbs up, whatever. That interaction is what social media is meant to be all about. So it's not just about posting a Facebook post and hoping people interact with it. You have to be active in there. So when you have this time, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, I recommend that's what you do in that time. So there's little 2 free tips for you. I hope you find that useful. Have an amazing evening. Please give me any feedback that you like. Don't forget, you've got till 12 o'clock tomorrow to book that 5-week online program. It's not 5 weeks of lives every night, by the way. It's 1 live a week, and then Maggie's done it and Bethany's done it. They know what it's like. It's really just a platform for you to learn and grow in a more organized format. Once it's a free Facebook group that you get added to. Okay, thank you very much for everything, guys. Thank you for jumping on. Like I said, any feedback that you've got, I really appreciate it. And if you feel like putting on your Facebook how much you love the webinar and tagging me in it, I would be super grateful for that too. Okay, night. Have a great evening. Bye bye. Don't forget to check your inbox in the morning, by the way. You'll have an email from me.